So we want to encourage everyone to speak out whenever they feel that something is off with them or that they are having different issues. Just be able to find somebody who they can speak to and talk to, but also just having the courage to speak, right, and fight the stigma against mental health. As we go into this next portion where we're actually having some of the poems that our students created presented today, please, first and most, just because our students have the courage to speak up does not mean that they have a mental illness, right? It does not mean that there is something wrong. It just means that their poetry is a form of self-expression. It's an outlet for their positive mental health. So as you watch and listen, we just ask once again, please set all judgment aside, reflect on their words, their thoughts, and their feelings as we enjoy their creativity and their artistry. Thank you. Our first poem up is from Miss Noemi Samayoa. It's Petals Made of Gold. It tells a story of loss and tragedy of a mother losing her daughter. So please enjoy.
Flower gleam and glow, petals made of gold. Emerald told a tale with gem as frail as glass. Let your powers shine, leaves are left to burn. Trails of purple veins, and endless sleep awaits. Save what has been lost, a girl who once stood tall, her smile captured all, a selfless angel falls. Heal what has been hurt, change the fate's design, its cruel jaws unhinged to clasp her angel wings.
All right, thank you for that, Noemi. Next up is a poem called Stigma by Maddy Small. This poem is reflective of someone being torn between family and friends and not knowing which way to go and losing themselves in the midst.
Stigma. Only God knows how exhausted I am. I drained every ounce of my blood and delivered it to him, praying the person who I feared would vanish. I lost myself, trying to protect you, and I can no longer recognize myself. Has God punished me? Is this agonizing pain and self-hatred a punishment?
Our next poet coming up is Jedidah Worrell, and this is her first piece, A Sign. This poem expresses just the thoughts of the demands from family and expectations, and how do you go through that process and some of the struggles that students can actually face internally.
A sign. I was looking for a sign that someone or something would comfort me in my loneliness. When my father and mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. But what I failed to realize is that the Lord stayed by my side. My blinded eyes sowed seeds of doubt. I wandered blindly through the forest of my mind that birthed into roots of guilt. That's brought it into self-destruction until I muttered the words I should have not said and spake them into existence. These words were only three, but the feeling I felt that day haunts me. I hate myself. But how could I hate myself when God loves me so dearly? My mother always told me that those who hated themselves were corrupted by the devil. But this was no Lucifer here. It was only my self imprisonment that made me fall from grace, caging my mind like having wings with the inability to fly. But who can be graceful when doubting the great I am? Why should I have doubt when in God we trust? This remembrance, it will deliver me on the path of righteousness. And through my prayers, he took my worried burdens and put me to rest. No longer doubting, I made my request. He told me he was my shield and buckler, and with his strength I rise, because every breath I breathe, I find my sign. My next poem is called.
All right, Jedidah will be coming back to do a second poem. But at this time, I wanted to stand in solidarity with our students. I actually wasn't going to do a poem, but Ms. Cohen reminded me that I did share one when we first kind of started off. So this is the piece that I wrote when I was a teenager, about my own family and things we were going through, because I think it's important that as adults, we let students know that there's things that we've also been through ourselves. So this is my poem, Forgiven. I took a road less traveled, hot coals and gravel. I was blinded by black robes trying to bang my skull with a gavel. They wanted to judge me. Why couldn't they love me? The good, bad, and the ugly. I stood fast with the hungry for the last bit of truth at the bottom of the pot when they were cooking up the stew and told us that this is food for thought. But I believed them with my heart, so I believed them in the dark. And when it all came to the light, I couldn't believe in what I saw. They tried to hold me to the letter of the law, but they never taught me how to read or write. And now that I'm fluent in life, they want to proofread me. But my files are read only. You don't have the right. But still, I feel like Adam and God in the garden. Where art thou? Because we are so far apart in the process of our thoughts. But I'm not God. I can't be three in one at the same time. Oh, I get it. I'm the black sheep, and you're looking for a scapegoat. But I rebuke that with the blood of the Lamb, because I know just who I am. Jesus grew me to a man, and everything that I am going through, yes, he is bigger than. But still, they say that I'm an arrogant, egotistical, eccentric, uncensored, loose cannon without any sense of respect. But I object. It's all about my perspective versus their objectives, and those who claim to know me best know me least because they neglect to see just how I've grown. Now check it. I never dwelt in the realm or even hung with the sons of the prophetic, but I read those scriptures and comprehended the message when Jesus said that a prophet will not be accepted in his own home. So I have become content with moving on, because I cannot expect the people to accept me, especially when they cannot handle the truth, especially when the truth has been so heavily misguided and I've been tried and convicted in courts of public opinion. But who's the real victim when they don't see them but still in prison? Trapped in the memories of what I used to be, so we no longer grow as a family because I'm no longer what you need, a scapegoat. Because Jesus gave hope and I latched on. Those guilty feelings that I had, man, that was the last one. They said, you're so far gone, you're out of your mind, Sean, you lost it. I said, for the first time, you're right on, because I almost fell forward. I almost threw in a towel like a forfeit, but Jesus never saw fit. So I drew my line right there and he crossed it. Now I walk with this no matter how awkward it is. Because he said, everything that you've been through and you're sinful, I went to the cross to forgive, and he buried that. So now it's time for me to bear fruit in the spirit. And my first gift, which is no longer succumbing to these venomous lies that you spew. See, Jesus died and resurrected. So I died, now I walk with him. I have nothing left to prove. I've already been forgiven. Our next piece coming up is The Signs from Miss Favour and Ngige. This particular poem, I think, is very crucial because it speaks about, as adults, as friends, as people ourselves, are we really paying attention to the signs that people put up in front of us, and how do we respond to those signs to make sure that we're taking care of people's well-being?
So today I am going to be reading two original poems that I wrote. The first one is called The Signs, and the second one is called The Darkness Beneath. The Signs. Are you okay? She laughs, he laughs, they laugh. I'm fine. The repeated lie. She smiles, he smiles, we smile. I'm fine. Deep breaths. She cries, he cries, we cry. I'm fine. Holding it in. They crack, she cracks, we crack. Until I'm not fine. Why didn't you notice the signs? Why didn't you help me? Watch me, listen closely, and pay attention this time. I'm fine.
In this second poem from Miss Favour and Ngige, The Darkness Beneath, it speaks a little bit to what happens sometimes when we don't pay attention to those signs, and people are left to kind of deal with their own anger or frustration on their own. So, without further ado, The Darkness, Miss Favour and Ngige.
The darkness beneath. It sits there unreleased, the anger I thought was long deceased. It crawls back up as I try to sleep, wanting to take over and take leap. Stop, I say. It retreats. It comes back up full force, baring its teeth. And one incident is all it takes for the monster to come awake. Let me out. I can't, I say. So it sits there. Waits as the girl breaks, waiting for that one day when the girl finally says, come out, let's play. Thank you. The darkness beneath.
So next up, we have "I Am Afraid" by Mr. Noel Ingram. The next two poems that we're going to read or listen to from Noel and from Victoria King speak to the trials and tribulations that happen of being African Americans in our society at current. So just again, listen to some of the pain, the feeling, the thoughts that are behind how our students are navigating, and this is their self-expression. Mr. Noel Ingram.
I am afraid of what will happen one day if I get pulled over. I am afraid of what will happen if I walk into the wrong store. I am afraid of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Why should I be afraid? Because being black is already a crime. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, just to name a few. It doesn't even matter if you're black in the military. We still aren't American enough to be treated equally. The police is supposed to protect us, not neglect us. But since no change has occurred, I am still afraid.
Miss Victoria King with "Through My Eyes."
Hello, my name is Victoria King. I'm a sophomore. My poem is entitled Through My Eyes, and it is a glimpse into my father's life through my eyes. My daddy is not afraid of the world. He can talk back to cops and hold his head up high when a white woman holds onto her purse for dear life as we pass her by. But that's not my main concern. I'm afraid that the world is afraid of him, not that he is afraid of it. 'Cause his black skin is louder than his church suit, and the confidence in his strut puts more fear in a person than it should, and the place he calls home gives people fright, and he can wear his Jets hoodie, hood up and all, on a crisp fall night. See, my daddy's not afraid of the world. And if he is, he sure does put up a good front. Or maybe he's just doing what he's been taught, because we've been teaching our men for years to be strongly, be manly, be tough. And most importantly, that their emotions don't mean much. See, my daddy don't hide, but he don't feel either. Don't cry, don't smile, don't be too eager to feel. I see a numb man. Numb men numb to this cruel world, and some of them just need a friend, an outlet. But don't let me get too far from my point. See, my daddy's not afraid of the world, but I sure am. I see people getting killed in the streets for looking like him, like me, and I've been drained of the energy to try and be free from the reality of my anxiety. 'Cause my heart skips a beat when we see those flashing lights, and my eyes still roll when I see a woman holding her purse too tight. I don't have his numbness, and my fear is no surprise, but I'm learning to see the world through my daddy's eyes. Thank you.
All right. So our final two poems that we are going to present to you today are from Jedidah Worrell and Miss Jaiya Fields. This next poem from Jedidah is called "Silhouette." It just speaks to the struggle of Black women to claim their identity and who they are through the attempted misappropriation of the culture. So, without further ado, Miss Jedidah Worrell.
My next poem is called Silhouette. Would you believe me if I said I was beautiful? All say that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. But behold, when kinky curls for dark-skinned girls are out of fashion, for us at least, everyone's buying what I am, my essence, my life. You and I are but silhouettes, featureless outlines of what we are, faceless, blacked out. Pay for my body. Dissect what makes me beautiful. Chop me into pieces you want. You can loot my body and put it for sale. The language is no longer sacred. You steal my lingo and put it on a more appealing face. An identity crisis. But everyone wants to be me, but don't want to be me. Consider that under the flesh is so easy to discard is blood, bones, and a heart. Kill me and reap the harvest. But money would never get you a soul. White validation may get you far. But our experiences, our resistance, our lives, that is our value. Money cannot buy us because our worth isn't something with a price tag. Everything you see, everything you feel, everything you are is priceless. Never sell yourself short.
As we move on to our last piece for the day, I just want to give snaps to all of the poets who have gone. I know that we are on a live stream and I can't hear your snaps and I feel them in my spirit. So we're definitely appreciative of everybody who's listening, just hearing the words and taking everything in that our students are feeling, and just imagining, how many other students could be feeling the same way. Making sure that we're looking for the signs, making sure that we are really communicating, engaging with, and talking to our students, our loved ones, our family members, to make sure that everybody is going through this time not by themselves, but with the help and support that they need. The next poem that we're going to bring up is this Jaiya Fields, and she's reciting County Cullen's "Hey Black Child." Just a note, it's not for every Black child, it's for every brown child, it's for every child, just to know who you are and your capability and what you're able to do. This poem was recited during our Black History Month presentation as well, but I think this is just a great culminating piece to kind of leave us on a positive note, put us in a great mind state of what we can do and where we can go. So without any further ado, this is Jaiya Fields reciting "Hey Black Child" by County Cullen.
Hello, my name is Jaiya Fields, and today I'll be reciting the poem Hey Black Child by Countee Cullen. Hey Black Child, do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be if you try to be what you can be? Hey Black Child, do you know where you're going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn if you try to learn what you can learn? Hey Black Child, do you know you are strong? I mean really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do if you try to do what you can do? Hey Black Child, be who you want to be. Do what you must do. Learn what you must learn. And tomorrow, your next year will be what you want it to be. Thank you.
And with that, I turn it over to Miss Crystal Cohen from the advancement team.
Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Ms. Cullen, a member of the advancement team, and I had the pleasure of working with many of our student performers today throughout this past year during regular creative writing and performing arts workshops. I am just so proud of all of our kids for their performances today. I'm so proud of how much they've grown as writers and artists and performers, and so thankful that they gave me and everyone tuning in today the opportunity to glimpse into their lives and hear their poetry and hear their stories. So thank you guys so much. Another huge round of applause. I know I can't hear you guys, but I know it's happening. To all of our students for being so vulnerable and standing up today to defy the stigma. Another shout out to Mr. Francis. Thank you for helping me put this together and for working with our students throughout this time. Another huge thank you to Investors Bank, whose generous donation made all of this possible. They funded regular workshops throughout the year and this event. So thank you to you guys. Thank you for believing in our students. And finally, thank you to everyone tuning in today. Thank you for being in the space with us. Thank you for being open-minded. Thank you for listening to our students' stories. I hope you are leaving here as inspired as I am. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your day.